Aaron Rodgers yesterday spoke to the media, talked to Pat McAfee, has been saying all the right things about offensive coordinator Arthur Smith.
Getting more comfortable as the days go on. There's not a my own playbook and it's Arthur's playbook. Now I'm finding ways within it to add little stuff here and there, but it's Arthur's playbook and I like it. I like it a lot. But
did you tell me there was a 13-9 chant that broke out yesterday?
Yeah, that's what I heard. 13-9 chant, and Aaron Rodgers was up there doing his thing as he just was, and he looks at Pat and looks kind of behind him, I think, and goes, 13 what?
Do you think he knew and was kind of trying to throw a dagger at Pat, or do you think he was just
I think
not
he had
aware?
no clue.
Yeah.
No clue.
He'll learn.
I wish I could be as blissfully ignorant about that moment as he clearly is. So Rodgers talks about the playbook there, and he would go on to say in the availability with the Pittsburgh media that Arthur's not married to any one thing and that they're going to tailor the offense to the personnel that they have. Well, this is my favorite day of the week because I got my two football guys in here. Ideally, what should they be looking to look like? What should the identity of this offense be this season?
I think what they're going to have to do, what we talked about earlier, I think that they always wanted to be a 12 personnel team, two tight ends. They clearly have a lot of tight ends and tight ends that they can use in different ways. I mean, even 13 personnel, I think will be rolled in there a lot, which is three tight ends. I think that they want to be balanced. Clearly, they want to, every offensive team wants to be balanced, but I think that the usage and the utilization of the tight ends is going to be what their identity is this year. Whether it's in the run game, whether it's in the pass game, whether it's in the red zone, whether it's wherever on the field, they are going to want to use Pat Freiermuth, Jonnu Smith, and Darnell Washington a lot. And I think that's what it should be because that's the heaviest part of your offense. Like that's the highest players and personnel that you have that can really make this offense go.
And real quick, Pat, I mean, you've been saying for a long time now, Dorn, like even if you improve nowhere else, you should be worlds better in the red zone.
Yep.
Worlds better. And not for nothing, but maybe for absolutely nothing, the first team offense won the 7 shots drill yesterday. They were live. They're tackling. The offense made some plays.
Yeah, I mean, I think that they're more well-positioned at quarterback for sure with a proven Hall of Fame caliber player who played at a high level at times a year ago and on a bad team. I think their best position group without question is tight end. I'm not the only one that thinks that. I think it's pretty well known. And I think they'll live in that world a lot. And the more they do, the more indicative it will be of them being efficient on first and second down, which means they run the ball more consistently. Which, again, they got behind the chains a lot, and that's not where you want to live if you're unsure about your left tackle. Where I'm curious, to say the least, is third down efficiency and what they decide to do in those circumstances. I think the guy that could get lost in the shuffle here if you're in 12 and 13 personnel is a guy like Calvin Austin who can be a difference maker. How do you get him on the field and get him touches on first and second down, on normal downs, and not just have him live in the slot on third and medium to long? Because he is a game changer out there. But if you're in 11 personnel, I mean, you can go some slot formation and have, two tight ends into the boundary and do what you want to do in the run game. But having him and DK work together, I think, is another component of this offense that I think we'll see grow this year.
Calvin Austin getting lost in the shuffle is interesting to me because you feel like those tight ends are going to work primarily in line and out of the slot. And we've talked a bunch about Jonnu Smith being a guy that played a lot outside last year in Miami and really throughout his career. I could see him on those third down situations being in the slot, Jonnu Smith being on the outside. But you should be able to mix and match fairly well based on the opponents you're playing. But you got to have something you hang your hat on. And I think they want it to be that running game. And I'm optimistic about that. But I also think you got to give Aaron some freedom that Russ did not have. And I think they're willing to do that. Mm-hmm. I don't think you try to reel Rodgers in for as long as they did if you're not going to give him some of that freedom. But what I mean by that is we talk about bad down and distance situations. The Steelers led the league in rushing attempts last year. I don't hate that. What I hate is by percentage, they ran the ball on second and long more than any team in the NFL. And other teams knew it. It became incredibly predictable. You can't be living in that zone this year because then it does create those long down and distance situations on third downs. Now Project Jones and Troy Faltano who got to stand up and make plays, and that's when you could get into some massive trouble.
Well, I think that in any circumstance, usually an offense coordinator is always willing to give a quarterback as much leeway as possible, only if the other 10 guys can get to the same level as the quarterback. It's never really about the quarterback. It's about everybody else getting on the same page as the quarterback of, identifying things, changing things, audibling things. So when we talk about Aaron Rodgers, being given some leeway of doing what he wants at the line of scrimmage, it's more about can Calvin Austin, get on that same page as Aaron Rodgers? Can Roman Wilson be on the same page? Can Darnell Washington? Can Johnny Smith? Can DK Metcalf? Can Caleb Johnson and the offensive line be, protection-wise? Like, it takes more than just a quarterback for a quarterback to get, in the offense to have that much leeway. So I think once they get to a point where everybody understands what they're doing, then you'll see more leeway from Rodgers.
And he said by the end of next week he thinks he'll have everything down pat. He knows what he's supposed to do. He said the way he put it was when he closes his eyes now, like he wants to be able to see everything and how it transpires.
Right.
And he said he's not quite there at that point just yet.